Welcome to the Socialize Forecast, March 26, 2024, the Tuesday edition of the Socialize podcast, where we take you through the trends, original content ideas, and social media updates of the week. The first thing I want to share this week in social media is AI is getting scary. I'm starting off with that because there was a creator, and I have been digging to find the video again. I thought I saved it to my favorites, and of course I can't find it, but it's possible she deleted it. Her image was basically copied and used in an ad without her consent. And it was an ad for something controversial, like some kind of medication. I can't remember specifically what. But it is a huge concern if we now have a situation where our own images are at risk of being used for things without our consent. And it's scary as hell, especially for a lot of us who are putting ourselves out there, and you never know where you're going to turn up. It looked so realistic. I really hope that I can find it and put it in the link below. I'm going to be spending probably hours looking for it, but it was unbelievable. And I thought, holy crap, if this happened to me and I was promoting something that, number one, I didn't even agree with or didn't like, how can you control that? I mean, obviously, hopefully she's going to get a lawyer and get some, either get paid, compensated, or have it taken down. Terrifying. But it just brings to mind that what's happening now in AI, we have no idea how far along it is. We only have what's at our own fingertips when it comes to AI and using TikTok AI effects or CapCut AI effects and these other apps. We have no idea if those apps with that technology, which is pretty darn good, is available to us as laymen. Imagine what's happening behind the scenes ahead of time. So, food for thought, and please don't believe everything you see. It's terrifying. I know that we're going through this whole thing with Kate Middleton and this video that was released, and now there's a bunch of conspiracy theories saying that that's an AI generated video. And quite frankly, after seeing that girl's video that I just mentioned, I would not even be able to tell the difference if this was truly Kate or not, honestly. And I'm not trying to add to the conspiracy theory. I'm just telling you what I saw in this girl's video where it looks like she is talking to camera, saying a script, very well performed, by the way. It didn't even look robotic. So the whole thing is really terrifying on some level. So I think we all need to keep our eyes wide open when we see things, because we are now depending on these social media apps for our news, our information, for learning, things that for humor, for relatability, and all of those good things. But it's terrifying to think that we may be being duped again and again, and we'll never be able to tell the difference. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'll leave you with that. Not to get too dark, but I just want to make sure that we are all in this with our eyes wide open. Now let's talk about the trends for the week. First one up, I really wanted to get to this when Julie was visiting because I needed someone to film my glam bot. But the trend is do your own glam bot. And this is where award season has come and, well, has come and gone at this point. But what the creators have been doing is using these ideas of these where these celebrities are flipping their hair to camera and then it's slow motion, and doing these slow motion videos on their phone and creating their own glam bots. It's really, really fun. And I really wanted to do one. So I have to see if I can find someone to film it for me. But I also wanted to teach it because I think what people don't realize is the way it's done. I haven't done a tutorial on this yet, but hopefully I can get to it. Is that the person filming you is moving forward with their camera and it's on slow motion. So if you know when you set slow motion to film in slow motion on your phone, and it starts regular speed and then it goes into slow motion. So that's the idea of a glam bot, is that it starts regular speed and then the slow motion kicks in. So I do want to explain something about the slow motion effect if you're not aware. When you film, you can tap on edit and you can decide where the slow motion starts on your video. So let's say you didn't like where it started because of the timing of the person who pressed the record button. You can adjust it. As a matter of fact, if you have shot something in slow motion by mistake, you can you can click edit and remove the slow motion completely from your video. I just did it recently where I shot something and I didn't realize I was in slow motion. And lo and behold, I was able to turn off the slow motion and have my video exactly as I wanted it. So do know that about the slow motion effect on your phone. And do give a glam bot a try. I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be fun. I am getting together with a friend this week, so I think I'm going to have her film my glam bot and I'll film hers. So we'll see how that goes. The next one is the Shark Tank pitch. This one has been hitting the FYP pretty hard now. And it's basically what you do is you put your Shark Tank pitch in text on the screen where you film yourself. You can be in selfie mode, you can be looking at camera, away from camera, you could be half in the camera, and you're making a pitch about what you want money for. So you can decide it can be something ridiculous. You want money to buy coffee every morning. It can be something extravagant. You want money so you can travel the world on someone else's dime. So the idea is you're shooting for a dream. And so you can make your dream as big or small as you want. This is a really easy one to use for small businesses where you're trying to pitch why someone should invest in your business, even just do it as a real Shark Tank, or why your customers should be buying into your brand. There's so many ways you can use it. So give that some thought and scroll through the sound and see how other people are using it just to get some inspiration. All right, the last one is, well, one that you've seen me do recently, and that is the I'm ready for this dance challenge. Gosh, it was fun. So I did do a version with Julie when she was here, but I didn't post it right away. And then I don't know why I held on to it. And then I decided, imagine if I was going to try, if I wanted to do this one without her, how would I do it? I just started to think about duetting myself. And I realized there's a few ways you could do it. Number one is you can post a video privately and then do an actual duet with yourself, I'm sure. But I wanted to do it so it looked like I was both in the same frame with, and instead of using the duet green screen, I just went ahead and used the video green screen. So today's tutorial does show you how to do it, but it's also a good one. It's also a great trend to just hop on if you do have someone to do it with that's really somebody who could be ridiculous and doing the crazy dance for you. It started out with young people doing the dance where they stand still and their parents or an older person goes in front of them and acts ridiculous, but then it kind of went in every direction. So you can do it with yourself. You don't need to have a friend. It's very, very easy and very achievable for even a beginner. Next up, I'll mention before we go into the content ideas that I do have an editing workshop coming up, Editing 107. And I scheduled it, and now I have to change the date because I just got booked on a production where I might be flying to Cincinnati again. And if that happens, I will have to move the workshop. So I'll know that in a day or two. But always keep aware that we do have our workshops posted on our new website, hellosocialize.com. Click on Learn at the top, tap workshops, and always the newest registration will be at the top. And all the former workshops are below. So you can watch them anytime and learn to edit and learn to do all the tips and tricks. The last one was a transition workshop. The next one, I'm going to focus on stop motion and product transitions. So if you are a product-based account or you are using products in your videos, this might be a good one for you to learn just some creative ideas on how you can change up your product content. And I love doing stop motion. I just did it recently for a project I was working on when I had some downtime in between shots. And I just said, I'm going to take a minute, set up my tripod and do a little stop motion video. And of course, the clients loved it. So yay to that. All right, let's get into the original content ideas. The first one is to green screen yourself. And this one does not have to be done with a dance trend. This can be done with you duetting, sort of green screening yourself in any scenario. You can do it right in TikTok. You can also do it right in the Instagram app. And I have both of those tutorials, which I'll try and link in the newsletter. Hopefully they're linked in the newsletter that you saw this morning if you've already taken a look at it. But it's a good way to do character videos without having to do edits and cuts. So you can be in the same scene with yourself. And that's a lot of fun. So tons of things you can do by green screening yourself. And if you don't want to green screen yourself, put something else back there and talk about it. green screen your life away. That's an effect that I haven't dabbled in that effect in quite some time. So it was fun to tackle it again and mess around with it. It's funny because if you watch my tutorial, you'll notice that there's a funny thing with audio. When you do green screen video, you hear double audio until you hit that record button. And it can be a little intimidating. And people said they were glad that I mentioned not to panic in the tutorial because all of them heard all the audio when they were making their videos and they panicked. So they were happy that I said that. All right. And the next idea is to remember that we have holidays, Easter, Passover, and all that coming up. And Easter's early, so you can jump on it now whether you want to share a special candy that you love, a recipe, if you're a fan of those marshmallow bunnies, I can't think of the names of them now. You know the ones I mean. Oh my goodness. Peeps. If you're a fan of Peeps, maybe you want to make a Peeps video and talk about what you love. One year I was really into baking and I did a cream puffs recipe that went viral because apparently a lot of people love to make cream puffs around Easter time. So that was a big hit. And I do have some virality in the baking space thanks to that one. And my apple pie, which was another viral apple crumb pie video that I did way back in 2020. So recipes are always fun to share. And you don't have to show the recipe, you can just talk about it. Why does it matter to you? Why is it a tradition in your house? There's a lot of things you can do with either recipes or holiday traditions and showing off what gets you excited. The last one, the last, not really the last one, but the last original content idea for today's newsletter is sharing an industry secret. So this means if you work in a specialized industry, you might have some insider knowledge. So there's people who work in restaurant business and they could talk to you about things that happen or go on in the kitchen. You can, if you work in retail, the things that are going on behind the scenes in the retail industry. There are people that are interested in the backdoor workings of businesses. So if you share something that you think might be super, super boring, other people might find it super, super interesting. So, and they may not even know it exists. So, and another example is if you're a real estate agent, maybe what's a tip for a future home buyer that isn't common knowledge? So, think about this in terms of using that engaging hook, like something like, you know what, someone never, oh gosh, what somebody has never told you is this, or I work in this business and here's my inside tip. So it's always about getting into the secret of something. So, however, you can word that to be your hook into your business will get your viewer excited and interested. All right, let's move on. So, tutorial for the day, as I mentioned, is the green screen, is that wonderful green screen effect. So if you want to play around with that, check out the tutorial. I did a really nice slow paced lesson. I think sometimes when I do very, very slow paced lessons on TikTok, and I think they're going to do poorly because people like faster paced videos. In fact, the slow paced ones do really well. So there's an audience for slower paced videos on TikTok. So take advantage of that. Now, before we wrap up, let's tap into a couple of the questions that were submitted this week. And one of them is how to post an older TikTok. There are a lot of ways you can go about this. Now, number one, if you make your videos outside the TikTok app and you edit them in CapCut and you save them to your phone and you file them into a folder, bonus for you, you can find it easily and you'll be able to easily tap it, add it, either put new music on it, change the caption, try different hashtags, and just post it again. The idea is not to post it with the TikTok logo on it. So you don't want to go to TikTok, save it, and then you have the TikTok logo. And then when you upload it, it looks like it's already been posted and you can clearly see that you're resharing it. So it's a good idea to make it look like it's the first time it was posted by going back to your original video. And that is the first way. Obviously, there's other ways you can do it. You can duet your older post. You can share your older post with yourself, in other words. So you duet it, you go side by side, or you go in front of it and you know, kind of add to it in some way. But I honestly think a very easy thing to do when you're reposting older videos is to just remake them. Because when you make something the first time, it may take some time. But once you have it figured out, it's easy to make the second time. And maybe the second time's a charm. And maybe you were adding something to it, maybe more confidence. And so I don't think it's a bad thing to just remake that content that was the first time. The one thing I will say, if it was viral the first time, it's possible that it would go viral again if you just repost it. But sometimes old videos don't do well. Something about it being back in the day and the app has changed and maybe people aren't resonating with that same hook line or whatever the reason. And so think about remaking it and putting a new spin on it and trying a different opening line, or especially if it wasn't viral, try a different hook, maybe shorten something up. So that's a good way to think about reposting your content. That's a few ways. Next question for today is very, very frequently asked. And I always forget to make a video about this. At some point, I will make a tutorial. But the question is, can you attach two drafts? And this will go with Instagram or in TikTok. If you have two different drafts and you want to somehow combine them, people ask me this question, and I chuckle to myself because I think sometimes we're so in it. We are so with blinders on in what we're doing. We don't even think outside the box, which is the simplest solution. So if you know the simple solution, you can save each draft to your phone separately. So you save draft number one, you save draft number two, you open up CapCut, you add them as two videos and edit them and export them, and then you have one video. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, which is similar, is you save one of them to your phone and then you attach it in the app using the edit feature. So in other words, you're in Instagram, you have one video, two videos and drafts. You want to start with one and then you want to edit, cut to the next one. So you leave the first one in the draft, you save second one to your phone. So now it's a video in your phone. You go into the first draft, you hit the plus sign and you add the second video. So it's very easy to just combine them in that way. Just put them together in the app. I like to do it outside the app because then I always have it saved and I don't have to remember save it before I post it. It's already saved because I edited it in a separate editing app. To me, the using CapCut is a safety net for always having your content without logos on it. It is literally your insurance policy that you're not going to lose your video because you posted it before you saved it. And if you do save it and then you have to go through all this rigmarole to get it back without the TikTok logo on it, who needs that headache? It's better to just have it saved in your phone ahead of time. At least that's my take on it. Now, somebody asked me this one and it's very niche, so but I'm going to answer it anyway. They have a physical green screen, like the drape that hangs behind, and they were asking me how to use it, which I thought was so cool. So obviously they and somehow came upon having this maybe from somebody in their family who was I don't know, in production or something. But for whatever reason, they have a green screen, an actual physical one, and they asked me how to use it. So I'm going to give you a quick thought on if you come across the option to have a green screen or put a background behind you of a certain color. The way to use that is so simple. You can film something with the green behind you, and then you take your video that you filmed into CapCut and you tap, I think it's remove background. And you can literally tap a color and isolate. So you would put the little thingy on the isolating the color and then click OK. And it takes whatever color that circle is on, it takes it away. And then you can literally put a layer of something else behind you back there. So you can put yourself in any scene. It is so cool. But I thought it was really funny that this person probably knows how to use the green screen app on their phone, but now with a physical green screen couldn't process how that would work. And it's so interesting to me because it just shows how we're wired now. There's nothing bad. It's nothing to say anything against this creator who just couldn't, but she couldn't think outside the app. Like, how do I work a green screen in real life, IRL? So there you go. That's how you do it. If you find yourself with a green screen in your house or you want to hang a drape of the color green, blue, any color can be isolated nowadays with these apps. You can just use CapCut, tap on it, remove background, isolate the color, boom. And quite frankly, in CapCut now, when you click remove background, if it's just you, it might be able to remove you without even having a green screen back there. I did have a tutorial about that posted a couple of weeks ago. So if you're looking for that, I think it's labeled remove background and you can scroll through the tutorials and find it. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed listening. I love being here. As you know, every week I say it, I feel like I sound like a crazy broken record, but I do. I look forward to recording these and I feel that I'm with you in your house, wherever you're listening, driving, and just enjoying the thoughts on social media for the week. So thank you for listening. And if you landed here via a podcast platform, don't forget to subscribe so you get the newsletter, so you get all the links that I'm talking about. And that is hellosocialize.com. Click our links where all the learning happens, and have a fantastic week. And I will be back Friday with a smile on my face, ready to go. Are you surprised? Probably not. Have a good one.